every 2 weeks of flat ironing. Hell no. Hey guys, welcome back. So today's video, I'm going to be sharing 15 mistakes that naturals make with their hair. And a lot of these things apply to me. So these aren't in any particular order, but I really hope that you guys find this video extremely helpful. The first one that I have is not deep conditioning long enough. And I am guilty of this. I am a very lazy natural. I like to get in and out of the shower quickly when I'm doing my hair. That's just me, and I think a lot of you guys can probably agree. So I don't deep condition long enough. Because I've pretty much completely removed conditioners from my regimen and I'm only using deep conditioners, I don't want to be deep conditioning every single time I have to wash my hair. That's like 10-15 minutes standing in the shower getting cold. Personally, I like to do my hair in the shower. It's just easier for me versus bending over in the sink, bending over a bathtub. That hurts my back, that hurts my neck, and I don't like it. If I can get out of the shower very quickly, that's what I'm gonna do. Recently, I have been deep conditioning longer, like actually deep conditioning, not like using it as a conditioner, you know, putting it in, detangling and rinsing it out. I'm actually using the deep conditioner. So keeping it in, you know, 10-15 minutes or even up to 30 minutes, I have seen a huge change in my hair. My hair is a lot softer, it's a lot more manageable, it's easier to detangle because it's actually absorbed the deep conditioner and it's just softened. Next time you're doing your hair, deep condition a lot longer. You know, follow the instruction on the back. If it says 10 minutes, do 10 minutes and use maybe a shower cap to trap that moisture in, trap the heat in. You'll see a huge difference in your hair. So the next one is too much heat. I know it sounds obvious, but I'm guilty of using, well, not anymore, but I was guilty of using too much heat. Not a flat iron, because you guys know I only do that once a year, but I mean like a blow dryer, you know, the paddle one, the brush one. I love it, but it gets very hot. Honestly, it does. And I was using it a lot in 2020 and 2021. I was using it a lot. I love how fluffy my hair is. I love how stretched out my hair is, or how stretched out my hair gets. So that's why I've been using it so much, and I honestly regret it. So this time around, we're not doing that. Try to cut back on the amount of heat that you're using. If you are in a healthy hair journey and you want to see growth, you want to see less breakage, less dryness in your hair, cut back on the amount of heat you're using. A lot of you guys were telling me that you flatten your hair twice a week and you don't have any damage, yada. That's great. But some of us can't handle that much heat. I know my hair definitely could not handle every 2 weeks of flat ironing. Hell no. Try to cut back on the amount of heat you're using. This year, I'm really gonna try and write down how many times I'm using heat on my hair. So far this year, I haven't used any, and I plan to probably flatten my hair at the end of the year, and I plan to blow dry, I'm gonna say 3 times. Let's say 3 times for the year. That's not much, because I was doing it probably once a month. Sometimes back to back. Yeah. Anyways, reduce the amount of heat you're using on your hair and you will see a difference in the health of your hair. And the next one is not using any protein, and I am guilty of this because I have low porosity hair, and they say that low porosity hair doesn't need protein because low porosity has enough protein, and you know, all of that. But low porosity, at the end of the day, low porosity does need protein, especially if you are dyeing your hair, you're using a lot of heat, which I've been doing. You're gonna need protein because heat breaks down the protein in your hair. It weakens your hair, you lose moisture from your hair. So I wasn't using any protein in the last 2 years, and I think that's what's caused my hair to look so different. I'm going to talk more about this in another video, but yes, if you have low porosity hair and if you have high porosity hair, you should be using products that contain protein, especially if you have high porosity hair. Those who have low porosity hair, I would suggest using protein after you had some type of chemical service, like dyed your hair or something. Even if you're not natural and you have a relaxer or a texturizer, whatever, you want to make sure you're using protein. Low porosity girls who don't really use too much heat, I would say maybe every other month add a little protein to your regimen. A very light protein, and you can definitely find them online. I'll try and link some down below. A light protein for low porosity girls, and something a little bit heavier for those who have high porosity hair. When your hair is lacking protein, your hair will look limp, your curls will look looser. When you add that protein back into your hair, or when you give your hair that protein, your hair will become more juicy. Your curls, you'll have a lot more shrinkage because now you have that elasticity. Your hair also won't feel mushy or like that gummy, wet feeling. I don't know how to explain it, but it feels like wet gum. I've run into that when I was relaxed. So you definitely don't want that. The next one is going long periods without washing your hair. And I'm guilty of it. And I think a lot of us are. We like to push wash day back. Like wash day is coming up and you're like, I don't feel like washing. I'm gonna do it next week. Or it comes again and you're like, I'm gonna wait another 2 weeks. So I'm very, very, very guilty of not washing my hair as often as I probably should. So I definitely want to go from doing it every 2 weeks to every week. And I'm actually excited for my next wash day because my new wash day routine that I have that I'm going to share with you guys. Don't worry, I'm going to share it with you guys. Wash your hair as often as you can. Of course, making sure to follow up with, deep conditioning, moisturizing, and sealing. The longer you go without, wetting your hair or adding moisture to your hair, the drier your hair becomes, the more brittle it becomes, and of course that's going to lead to breakage. The next one is not thoroughly detangling your hair. And I am guilty of this because I am a lazy natural. Very lazy when it comes to doing my hair. In the last 2 years, last 3 years, I've become very lazy with my hair. Life is busy. I don't have as much free time. I have a toddler that is attached to my hip when he's home. So the routine that I'm going to share with you guys soon, I take my time when I'm detangling my hair. This is something I never used to do. I would just go in with a wide tooth comb, and I'm done. Now I go in with a wide tooth comb, and then I go in with a smaller tooth comb or a smaller tooth brush, and I really get those tangles out. I work in really small sections and I get all the knots, all the tangles, all the shedded hair out. With a wide tooth comb alone or with your fingers alone, you sometimes miss those shedded hairs or those tangles or those knots. And I've noticed that, but I'm a lazy natural, so I would miss all that stuff. Sticking with detangling, the next one is not detangling from ends to root. Guilty. Sometimes I'd start about halfway, start detangling halfway and then work my way up. The things I'm doing now, and I'm looking back and I would tell you guys, do not do this, and I'm doing it. Anyways, don't do that. Don't start at the middle. Don't start at the roots. Start the ends and work your way up. When you start at the middle, there's usually some knots there, of course, right? You do a twist out, you do a braid out. There's gonna be some tangles up inside there. So you wanna start at the bottom, get those tangles out and work your way up. If you start in the middle and you start to drag that tangle down, you can cause some serious breakage, which I probably experienced. Start at the ends and work your way up. Start with the wide tooth comb or start with your fingers and then use something a little bit smaller and do things in sections. So speaking of sections, yes, work in small sections. I have a lot of hair. It's very dense, it's very thick, it's very kinky, coily, whatever. When it's not stretched out, because this is currently in a stretched wash and go. Normally it's a lot shorter, but I love the look of a stretched wash and go. So with my hair type, my density and all that, I gotta work in small sections. So I work in about 6 sections or so. Someone with finer hair, looser curls probably can do 1 or 2 sections. I don't have that hair, so I gotta work in small sections. So I do about 6. When I'm using a smaller tooth comb, then I double it or so, maybe about 10 maybe. And honestly, my hair likes it. And I love how my hair looks when it's fully detangled. You guys are gonna see it soon. The next thing that we do a lot, not everyone, but a lot of us, we do those tight puffs, tight ponytails, tight styles. It causes a lot of tension in the crown. For the most part, we do our ponytails or our puffs at the center of our head, and it causes a lot of tension, causes a lot of breakage. And I've noticed that I have really short strands in the center of my head. Really try my best to not do those tight styles anymore, or to minimize it, because I still like my puffs. So I'm definitely gonna try to not wear it as often and to remove the style at night, because I'm guilty of not doing that. You know, it still looks good. I don't want to take out the, you know, the ponytail holder. I just want to go to bed, wrap up my hair, go to bed. But really, you should be taking down the style. So again, tight styles can cause breakage. It can also cause alopecia as well. Yeah, it can really cause some serious damage to the crown of your head or wherever you're putting it, maybe at the nape. It can cause a lot of breakage in those areas. So the next one, oh gosh, I'm guilty of this one. No proper protection from the harsh winter cold. If you don't live in the cold, you know, Toronto, New York, you probably don't have to worry too much about this. But for those of us who live in a place where it snows and it gets cold, I noticed that my hair does not, of course, it doesn't like that cold wind, that cold breeze that we get in the winter. Wearing a proper hat, of course you want to put on a silk scarf or satin scarf first and then your hat. Also our hair brushing against our winter coat, our scarf. You really want to try to get your hair off your shoulders during those winter months. So right now I'm wearing a wash and go, because I really wanted to wear wash and go, but normally my hair is in 2-strand twist and I'm wearing a silk scarf and then a little like hat, and that's pretty much how I wear my hair. So for the most part my hair is tucked away during the winter, but I was really wanting to do a wash and go, so I did one, and I think it's about day 3, and I actually plan to wash my hair tomorrow, which is crazy because usually wash and goes last me about a full week and then I turn it into a puff. So for me to wash my hair and like after 4 days of rocking a style is very new, but we're gonna see how this goes. Next one, regular trims, guilty. I don't get regular trims, and not that I don't want to, I just forget, honestly, because like I would trim it, let's say trim in January, and the next time I trim it, I don't know when exactly, I don't even know when. I don't remember it. I was like, did I trim my hair? I don't remember, because I don't always film every time I trim my hair, so I have no record, no memory of it, so I forget, and I can go a whole year without trimming my hair, which causes me to have to do a huge cut because now I have so many single strand knots. I have a lot of split ends because I wasn't getting rid of them as the months went by. They recommend that you trim your hair every 12 weeks, I believe, so that's every 3 months. Again, I don't do that, but we're gonna start doing that. Whether you go into a salon and get it done or you do it yourself, there's tons of tutorials online. You can do it in a stretch state, meaning blow dried or flat ironed, or you can do it in a 2-strand twist, which I've done a few times. Yeah, get your hair trimmed every 3 months if you need to. Some of us don't need to. Some of us can go longer. Some of us need to do it more often. It really depends on how you take care of your hair. The next one is assisting damage. So you notice that your hair doesn't look right. You're noticing that your hair is breaking. You're noticing that your hair looks limp, but you just let the months go by and not do anything about it. That's causing more damage on top of the damage you already have. A lot of us make the mistake of not doing anything about what's going on right now. We just let it go by. We just let the months go by. So assisted damage, when you notice it, whether you go to a salon or you do it yourself, just try and just fix it. Don't let the months go by. Another one is taking care of your hair from the inside. So whether you're eating clean, drinking a lot of water. Guilty, I don't drink enough water. Let me just tell you this, drinking a lot of water helps with your scalp, helps with your hair. If you're noticing that you have a dry scalp, you may not be drinking enough water. If you do drink a lot of water and you still have a dry scalp, you may have something else going on. So you may need to see a dermatologist about that. But I'm guilty of not drinking enough water and I have a dry scalp. So we're gonna try and fix that because I'm guilty of not drinking enough water. Eating clean, drinking enough water, maybe exercise. If you're not taking care of your body, that's gonna affect your hair. So, I mean, it makes sense, right? The next one, I know everyone says it, but patience and consistency. If you're not patient with your hair, you're rushing through it, you're not gonna get the full benefits if you were actually being patient and being consistent with your hair. I notice a huge difference when I, actually take the time to do my hair, actually enjoy the process of doing it versus me like, okay, let's just get out of here and just, I want to be done. I want to get out of the shower. That's pretty much the mentality that I had in 2020 and 2021. I just want to be done. I don't have time for this. Let's go. So I see a huge difference in how my hair looks, feels and just behaves overall when I'm actually patient and just being consistent every single wash day. Another really big one is over manipulation. For example, brushing and combing our hair. So for example, let's say we have our hair in a sleek bun. That constant brushing of having to, you know, slap down gel and water and brushing, that causes so much breakage. I actually do plan to do a sleek bun next week, but I'm only gonna rock that style for about 3 days. I think the last time I did a sleek bun, I left it for like a week or two. So I'm definitely not doing that this time. I'm really gonna make sure that, you know, 3 days, we wear that nice ponytail and then that's it. So a lot of us love to, you know, do our little baby hairs, our edges. I don't do that too often. I pretty much only do it for videos. Usually when I go out, I just let my baby hairs do, you know, do their thing. But yes, the constant brushing and combing our hair. I try not to mess with my hair too much. I try to just use my fingers when I'm doing things. If I want to slick down my hair, I honestly just use my fingers to brush my hair. And if I do use a brush, I kind of tilt it on its side so that way the bristles aren't really, you know, running through my hair. It's more so the side of the brush, if that makes sense. So yes, of course, constant brushing, constant combing is gonna cause breakage, split ends, and of course, it's gonna change the overall health of your hair. All right, so the next one is, of course, I'm guilty of doing this, not using enough product. I always felt like I was doing enough, like when it came to moisturizing my hair, but then when I watch other people moisturize their hair, they have finer hair than me, a looser texture than me, they be using a lot of moisturizer, and then I'm like, maybe I'm not using enough. Recently, I kind of been looking at how I've been doing things and comparing what I'm doing to what other people are doing, and I realized, yes, I am not using enough moisturizer, which could be why my hair gets drier faster. Again, things happen, you kind of forget the basics, and you need a refresher or reminder to do things the way you used to do them. So it's a mistake that probably a lot of us are making, or maybe not even a mistake, you just don't know. Because a lot of you guys have asked me, how do I know if my hair is moisturized? So you will know when your hair is moisturized. Your hair will shrink. Your hair will not look dull. It would have a nice natural shine to it. It kind of looks juicy. I don't know if that even makes sense. It looks like you pretty much soaked your hair in water. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's pretty much how my hair looks when it's moisturized. It gives off a really nice shine, nice sheen. My hair shrinks up a lot. When I use a brush or a comb, it just springs up really nicely. It feels really soft, and throughout the week, it still looks really juicy, really shiny. Still soft to the touch. So I try to use a fair amount and not, you know, being stingy with the product, and really moisturize my hair. So if your hair is getting dry fairly quickly, try using a little bit more product next time. Because of course, if you're not using enough product, your hair will get dry, brittle, and break. So my next mistake, maybe, is not sealing in the moisture. So maybe not using a butter and oil to seal, lock in that moisture in your hair. So not everyone likes butters, not everyone likes oils, and that's fine. If you have a routine that's working where you don't use oils and you don't use butters, great. You do not have to use it if your hair doesn't like it or you don't like it. Personally, I love oils, I love butters. So when I moisturize my hair, I make sure to use a little bit of oil and apply it on top of that moisturized hair to lock in that moisture. And you'll notice that, I mean, you can do a test on yourself. Moisturize one side and moisturize and seal on the other side, and see which side lasts longer, which side has the shine, the sheen longer. Which side feels softer longer, and you'll see a difference. So maybe you won't see a difference because maybe your hair does well with both, but for sure I know that my hair loves oil, loves butters, and if I were to just moisturize alone, my hair would probably get dry within 2 days versus you know, staying moisturized for 7 days, which is what normally happens. And my last mistake, so my last one is not clarifying your hair. Clarify or detox your hair. So if you're someone like me who has low porosity hair, we tend to get buildup very easy, even if we don't use butters or oils. Product tends to sit on our hair after a few days. Our cuticles lay flat without heat. With heat, it helps to raise them. Yeah, if you don't use some type of clarifying shampoo or like a bentonite mask to remove that buildup off of your hair is gonna look way down. your hair is going to look limp. It can even look dry. You try to add product to your hair, that product is not going to get inside and moisturize your hair because it's blocked with old product. That is something I learned while being natural. I had no idea what low porosity hair was. So I definitely experienced buildup, and I was wondering why my hair looked so greasy, or why I was seeing like water droplets on my hair, because my hair was just clogged in a sense. Like, it was just full of product. My scalp was so greasy because I wasn't using a shampoo to remove or to strip that off. I was using moisturizing or hydrating shampoo. That's just gonna lightly clean your hair. It's not gonna really, you know, clarify it and make it squeaky clean. So I try to make sure that I clarify my hair about twice a month or so, just because I know my hair is gonna get built up. Because I use oils, I use butters, and I definitely need to make sure my hair is squeaky clean every single wash day, so that way I can get really, really nice results, and that, you know, my hair is actually getting moisture versus it just bouncing off, because that is literally what low porosity hair is like. Water just repels, it just bounces off the strands. I hope that you guys found this video helpful. If there's any tips or anything that I missed, let me know down below. Let me know if you've learned anything new here, which ones were your favorite, which ones did you not realize you were doing, but you're gonna make the changes. And if you guys didn't know, I do have an online store. It's called ShaniqueBuntyn.com. I'll have it linked down below for you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one.